Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the stream. I'm super excited to be continuing this Pride charity event. As you all know, we are raising money for the TJFP. If you want to find out more about this awesome charity, we have links posted in the chat. They are trying to help raise funds for grassroots roots efforts to help trans people in their rights. It's a really great charity. Go ahead and check that out. We also have a donation link that you can click on to affect our game. If you would like to donate, we are currently going to be playing a game called Wicked Lies and Alibis. If you ever wanted to know what a TTRPG would be like if it mixed with the Clue board game, this is the best game I found that connects both of those very well. This is going to be a murder mystery tonight, and we will be trying to figure out who among our cast did it. And that's where you guys come in, our wonderful audience, because our donations allow you to affect who the eventual person that did it. One way to do that is for $5, you can spend to give someone an accusation. Write their name in the little description box as far as what your donation was, and we will add an accusation card to them. Uh, which will up their chances of becoming the big baddie at the end. If you would like to help someone, you can give them an alibi for $10. That means that an accusation card will be lifted and they have less of a chance of becoming the baddie at the end. And if you would like to shake things up, our biggest donation is for $50. Another incident will occur. Another NPC, not just the one that started with, uh, will end up becoming the victim of the baddie. So, without further ado, I'd love to introduce our amazing cast today, starting with Rose Blossom.
Oh goodness. Hi, I am Rose Blossom, or Rose for short. I am an aspiring voice actor and writer. Nothing paid for yet, but hopefully that will be uh changing in the future. Hopefully. On the TTRPG front, I haven't. I've been starting, however, to get into uh things like with these one shots that I've been doing. Like this one, for example. Uh and hopefully I will continue to do so because stuff like this, it is fun. And it's helping support a good cause. Yeah.
And what character are you playing?
Um I am playing Celeste, he him pronouns. Uh should I give my occupation or something?
Yeah, occupation's okay to share.
Oh yeah, I'm a reporter for this newspaper called The Daily Downtown. It's queer owned, and it likes to follow events in the queer community.
Amazing. Next up, we have Anna Maeve.
That is me. Hello, I am Anna Maeve, queer and trans advocate, museum worker, and TTRPG performer, producer, and podcaster. I'm also a founder and producer for the Dareful Archives podcast network, including our current flagship show, Bloom and Blight. And today I will be playing Yvonne Jones. We both use she, her pronouns, and Yvonne is an explorer known for many daring adventurers throughout the world unknown.
I can't wait to hear more about Yvonne. Next up, we have the amazing Kit.
That's me. I'm Kit, pronouns they, them. You can find me most places on the internet at Kit Roll. But tonight, I will be Ethel Edie Garber, known for being one of the stubborn, one of the more stubborn aviators locally.
Excellent. And last but certainly not least, we have Chanel Lees, our wonderful player and tech producer.
Hi there. I'm Chanel Leith. I use she, they pronouns. I am a visual art educator, visual artist educator and an actual play performer and sometimes a tech gremlin in the back. No, the tech gremlins are bad. I kill the tech gremlins. That's my job. And tonight, I will be playing Charles Cristal, who uses she/her pronouns, and she is a drag king who is loosely based on real-world historical 1920s drag king Gladys Bentley.
I cannot wait to hear more about all of your characters. I am Mary. My pronouns are she, her. I'm going to be your game master and great detective for this evening. Uh, Also known as the Nerd on Wheels online, I do disability advocacy through storytelling. And without further ado, let's get into Wicked Lies and Alibis Murder at the Pride Festival.
Woo!
So as our camera draws into a beautiful countryside, we see a old style car pulling up into a long, luscious garden. You see as it drives up the sidewalk, we see these beautiful topiaries and people milling in, some by foot, some even by horse, bicycle, any way in the 1920s that the queer community in New York could get to this location, the Countess's mansion. They will do so because this is the highest event of the year. The Countess Winterthorn is best known as a pillar in this community. She and her late wife helped establish a safe place in their mansion. Anyone that needed a home, their door was always open. And every year, in honor of their beloved wife, the Countess holds a grand festival, a fair with many booths, different restaurants, opening little pop-up restaurants. Uh, we see there are carts selling handmade goods. There are performances by drag queens and kings of the time. And our camera first zooms in on Celeste. Celeste, what are you doing uh, preparing your booth for the Pride Festival at this time?
Well, I am just fixing. First off, I'm fixing these chairs that I brought in, these comfy chairs, cuz hopefully if anyone comes over to my booth, I will be able to do an interview for them if they want, obviously, and no forcing them. Along the walls of this little booth are some of my finer works in uh for my newspaper. Well, not mine, but like, I'm a part of it, um so like anyone can like look at them. There's also like they're like stamped onto the walls, but there's also like ones that people can read, like in a stack on a table. And there's also a picture on the table. Me with this girl, this younger girl. But we won't talk about that right now. That's not the point of this whole thing. That's just that's just there. But yeah, I got my notebooks, I got some pens and pencils, and I am ready to write about this about not just this event, because obviously my newspaper. Why wouldn't they be covering this? And why wouldn't I be covering this? But I will also hopefully be getting to know some of the characters here, and maybe they'll be featured in the newspaper we have.
The Countess had given each of you a very healthy budget to build out your booth. You were gifted brand new sets of cameras for the time. Very hard to come by, but it seemed for the Countess, all she had to do was basically snap her fingers, and there it was in your lap. There's also, you see, there are deeds and deals to a printing house uh, that, should you win the inheritance, it's all yours, your own newspaper. We'll have to talk to the Countess to see how she feels about everything. Have you ever interviewed the Countess?
Yes, actually, a few times. I mean, she's such a busy woman, and I mean, sometimes she's just well, I don't want to delve into her business, but you know how the countess is. But yeah, the few times I have, it's truly been an honor, though. She's just there's something about her. I
The
mean,
Countess is
I'm a
always
oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
It's just that I'm a reporter, so I should be able to put stuff like this into words, but like, she just has like this air about her, like.
She definitely knows how to silence a room as soon as she walks in. She has a shrewd eye, almost is able to figure out a person's weakness just by looking at them for 5 seconds. As we zoom out in our camera, as Celeste begins to interview his uh, first interview of the night, you see a older woman in her 40s. She looks to be a little bit out of place. She's wearing probably what looks like almost like a flower sack dress that has been handmade with very beautifully braided ribbon that seems to be looking at your booth and taking notes. And the camera's going to leave us on that as you noticing this woman just kind of subtly staring, taking notes, staring in a way that just piques your interest. Our camera is going to zoom out and move over over to Yvonne. Yvonne, what does your booth look like?
So I think the camera finds Yvonne knelt down, putting the final touches on the gears for an animatronic lion that's going to occasionally pop out at people as they pass by. She kind of finishes tightening those bolts and stands up, brushing her hands off, and looks up and watches a plane fly over from Edie's air show that's in preparation, and turns back and looks at her booth. It's a very cozy booth made of like antique wood with very thick plush purple velvet curtains kind of draped here and there. There are a number of displays of different photos of her on adventure, some photos of her with the apprentices, young women who have sworn off of marriage for the life of adventuring in this apprenticeship program that she's been putting together. And kind of off in the side is a phonograph playing recorded radio transmissions from the time that she was stuck in a snowstorm. As she's looking at this, the lion just pops out, and there's a scream, I think, as someone passes by, and it pulls back into the curtain.
Uh, you definitely have caught many eyes with the animatronic lion, and you see there are a few kids that are like whispering of how you were able to capture a lion and get it to go in and out of the box at will, believing that this is entirely real. Uh, you've been able to add a certain magic and whimsy to your explorations, and it's certainly being noted. Um, as you look around, again, you see this older woman in her 40s wearing this flower sack dress, again with braided ribbon of all colors. And she begins taking notes, but your eye wanders a bit towards the main stage, where you see a picture of, or I guess it would be a portrait at this time, of the Countess and her beloved wife, Ramona Winterthorn. Ramona Winterthorn, as you guys know, was a famous vaudevillian drag king. And at this time, many drag kings went by she, her, not he, him. So she uses she, her pronouns at this point. But she passed away about 10 years ago. And since the Countess has been very secretive, always keeping her cards close to her chest. But you were given all expenses to build this, all of the best inventors to help aid you in the animatronic, but I'm sure you didn't really need them. The Countess more so making sure that everything is well taken care of, as she wants to make sure that your booth looks well to the public. Well and good. probably wouldn't get an A+ from her. She's not one to give 100%. But as the cameras turns, settling on that woman in that flower sack pattern dress, uh, we move over to an air show going on in the sky as Edie. What is your booth like as an aviator? What is your plan?
So booth is a strong word, I think, for what Edie sort of brought to this event. Edie is a pilot by trade, and so what she has to offer is essentially a meet and greet, a meet the team for the upcoming Grand Aerial Yard, the annual air show that they will be hosting. And obviously, that's not an event for today. We don't want to upstage the Countess at her own thing, but they are putting on a little bit of a little trick show a couple of the pilots are doing nearby that is kind of visible. So there is a sort of a small booth tent situation set up with a couple of the pilots who aren't flying yet or aren't involved with this but are, chatting with folks about upcoming shows and races and things like that. So getting the public, able to talk with the more famous pilots and maybe encourage some folks to take up the hobby career, whatever they decide to make of it. And so I think we see Edie running around, very much dressed in like the short button down, the jodhpurs, like that sort of situation, but from the shoulders up, done up for a fancy event. So like the makeup, the finger waves, the whole deal. So it's a very two halves of an outfit put together. And she's running around with a clipboard, talking to people, making sure that everybody is set up for the day at hand. She's talking to one of her pilots who's um, maybe chatting with a reporter, who knows, about preparing for her upcoming run in the transcontinental air race that's coming up soon, making a big show of that, and getting folks involved. But there's people flying around, doing flips and, do we have colorful smoke bombs at this point in history? I think I'm claiming that we do now. Because we have to make it showy
Rule
and
of cool.
flashy. It's pride.
Absolutely.
It's
It's pride.
pride. We're doing there's like smoke rainbows and shit. Like it's a whole ordeal, but it's set up as sort of the backdrop for the day, if that makes sense.
It absolutely does. And you definitely spy one of your pilots talking to a reporter as you see another one of your planes go through the sky, launching these brightly colored smoke bombs in the air to showcase a beautiful rainbow. And the Countess has been funding many of your adventures, many of your aviation, and helping you build out this fleet. In fact, she actually gifted you a brand new plane and is planning on giving you an airfield should you win the inheritance. And I forgot to mention, as far as Yvonne goes, as far as the inheritance, her plan is to fund your expeditions until you wish to stop adventuring. An open check entirely. But Edie, you, like all the others, do see a woman kind of sticking out in that flower sack dress with those brightly colored ribbons braided, decorating it, writing notes on your booth, looking very in shock and awe at the smoke bombs going through the air. You see her like gasp, just like she did at the lion. Uh, and you see her just buzzing from spot to spot. Uh, and see her running towards another booth as the camera zooms over to our wonderful drag king.
Charles's booth looks a lot like a miniature big top, like a circus tent. Charles is standing out in front of it, dressed to the nines in a long coat-tailed red ringmaster's jacket. He's got a white shirt, a bow tie. Her makeup is immaculate. Her hair hot combed and finger waved under a big top hat. and decorating her face is a large, fake, but glossy and rather convincing handlebar mustache with a little goatee underneath. And she is busy. Well, she's kind of side eyeing Yvonne's booth just a little bit as she sets out some animal masks and props, one of which being a lion's a lion costume, as she's got her lion tamer's whip kind of like leaned against one of the posts of the mini big top, the little top, waiting for her performance. And she's setting out props for people in the community to come in, and she's waiting rather impatiently for the caricature artists that she had hired to come have people sit in costume and sketch themselves or sketch them as the various characters generally found at a circus in between her little mini drag king performances. Um, Essentially, yeah, that's what her booth looks like.
Coming in hot, you see the caricature artist kind of like moving people out of the way, diving between different groups of people, narrowly avoiding running straight into a child before just stopping at a dead stop right at your booth as they kind of like double over, breathing hard. And you know this to be Leo's general demeanor. They don't have a internal clock, but they always seem to get there right when you need them to.
Felt right here. Felt right here. I think hearing the footsteps approaching, I think Charles kind of thinks better of herself, doesn't changes her demeanor, less hurried, more relaxed, finalizing the finishing touches. And as Leo skids to a stop near her without looking at him, just kind of goes, "Evening, Leo."
Hi. Sorry it took me so long. It was traffic and the I could only pedal so quickly and then with the easel on the back of the bike it just but we're here and we're going to win. I'm going to help you win. It's all going to be fine. We're gonna do this. It's gonna be great. And you see that they begin to set up their easel and then they start waving people down to be able to get their caricatures. And you see people from the community come up to you to see the different costumes that you have. Some very much piqued interest into the art form. And you see a bunch of little kids kind of come up in just awe of all of the beautiful sequins, and it's almost like they're seeing magic before their eyes. Uh, and you hear whispers of, "I want to do that. Do you think I can do that?" It just whispers in the background as your eyes meet with a woman in that flower sack outfit, with the rainbow colored ribbon adorning it. Just kind of look, make a lot of notes, and then you see her kind of look uh, very proud and excited when when she sees these kids kind of frolic up to the booth. And as we see our players in this deadly game set up their booths, we hear a bell begin to ring. The bell meaning that time is up. There are no last minute adjustments to be made, and the booths are ready for judging. But before that, of course, we have the opening ceremonies, as the Countess is going to be actually coming out of their mourning for a very long time. They've been mourning for about 10 years. And this is the first time that they've been able to actually want to come out and see people, not just one on one, but to actually host this grand event. You see behind wheeling her and wheeling her into the stage up a ramp. Behind her is a larger a Latino man that all of you know as Guillermo. Guillermo has been by the Countess's side since she first actually came to America. They were fast friends and developed a kinship, especially after both of their spouses had passed away. So they
Aw.
oftentimes are not seen without the other. In fact, he's usually a shadow, but you can tell that they're bickering with each other as she kind of just swats
Oh.
him from touching the handles of her wheelchair, and she just says, "I'll do it. Don't worry, I've got it." You know that in her older age, the Countess is probably at the well-aged time of 79 years young. She is getting quite up there, but she has a fiery spirit and will make sure that her affairs are taken care of before anything should happen. At least she hopes. You see her pull up to the microphone, yoink it down to her level, and she just kind of taps it in a way to get everyone's attention, very much in the is this thing on? Uh, whether she's doing it for show or whether she doesn't really know how it works, you have no idea. But she will just say, "And welcome, welcome to this wonderful event. Of course, you all know my beloved Ramona. Ramona unfortunately cannot be with us here today in person, but she is here in spirit of everything we do. This is a place of welcoming, of adventure, and of finding community above all else. Family is everything," as she directly looks at Yvonne.
Hmm.
Now, as you all well know, I would love to be here forever. However, time is not always on my side. But it's going to take a lot to get me away from all of you. But I have to have plans. And in these plans, I have chosen four well deserving people to compete to see who will be willing, welcome, and deserving to run this establishment from here on out. I would rather like to take a break, rescue a few more corgis, and live out my days on a new mansion that I just signed on yesterday. So I am willing to, and you almost see like this gritted teeth when she says willing. I'm willing to pass on this blessing to another. Now it is your job, and she starts pointing to the audience, to put your token into the chalice of the booth you like most. I expect to see all of them overfilled. She gets a chuckle from the audience. Almost anything she says, you know, the audience would laugh at. And she continues on saying, "But there can only be one winner, and that will be decided by me. I'll take your opinions into account, of course, except for you. Just kidding." And she then will say, "Now, claps, claps. Uh, it is time to venture, look at the booths, say what you think, and for me to meet with the wonderful people here." And you see her give a look at Guillermo. Guillermo rolls his eyes and he just drudges up to her and helps her down the ramp as they begin bickering once again. Uh, you four are standing in the audience. As people begin to mill about, what do you guys do?
I think as we've all been sort of pulled away from our booths for a minute, Edie will take this time to stop in, check in on Yvonne as we're headed back to the booths. Just see what's up. A little bit of friendly ribbing for the competition, but it's mostly for the audience. Gotten everything set up?
Everything seems to be working smoothly. That last plane that passed over was rattling. You might want to check that.
Uh, yeah, that's Enola. She really wanted to get out instead of tuning things up, but it's on the list for today. And there is a long list spilling off of the clipboard that she's holding of things to check on. Honestly, this event is more just to see what's working and what needs to be fixed before the big show.
Well, I know they call those things flying coffins, but today's not the best day to demonstrate why. Put a damper on things, don't you think?
Yeah, it'd be kind of a buzzkill, but I they seem they seem all right for now. Well, we keep a close eye on these things. Wouldn't want to ruin the Countess's event.
Well, if you need a place out of the sun, my booth is open, though it looks like it's going to be pretty packed today, so you may not find a chair.
Yeah, with that is it a lion? Is it meant to be a lion?
You were there when I bagged it. You know it's a lion.
I know it. Come on, we got to
You
put on
are so
some sort of
scared.
competition. I can't let you win this easy. People will think I threw the competition.
Have you considered dropping one of those smoke bombs on one of the other booths? Could help thin out the competition.
And the crowd. You don't want to breathe what's in there. I'm fairly certain of it.
Just keep it away from mine. She gives you a wink and walks off towards her booth.
I'll do my best.
Now, at any point, our players can do something called building a connection. In this way, every single player has a card. And the things that make up this quick character sheet are your occupation, your reputation, your motive, and your circumstance. Now, for now, our motive and circumstance are hidden. However, if you build a connection with someone, you learn their motive and circumstance. So at this point, would any of you like to play your connection card?
Yeah, I can play my connection card. I think these two have perhaps gone on adventures together. Not everything can be gotten to by land. So I reckon on occasion Yvonne needs somebody who can get her to places a little bit farther. Would you say that rings true?
I have found it is difficult to charter a boat to the top of a mountain range, so yes.
One day. One day technology will advance far enough. But until then, you need me.
So, Yvonne, if you can send the lovely Edie your motive and circumstance.
Do I do the same?
No, it is
Oh,
one way.
what? Oh no. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
I feel like I could use my connection as well with Edie. We've spent enough time together that I think she would have some confidential information about Yvonne at this point. I mean, an 8-hour flight in a tiny airplane wrapped in fabric across the ocean gives you plenty of time to talk about just about everything.
Absolutely, you can spend your connection card. So, Edie, you can send Yvonne your information of your motive and your circumstance.
Will do.
Let's see which
Z-
one throws the other under the bus first.
It will be very interesting to see
No
how
buses
things
here.
go.
Cannot stress this enough.
We've got a
Maybe
bike. Who
accomplices.
gets hit by the bike? We'll find out. But the camera is going to zoom in. Celeste, your interview with the pilot has gone quite well. Probably enough information to fill at least 2 columns worth.
Alrighty. Um, I think I'll take a bit of a break from my booth to go and look around, make connections. uh, and I think I'm actually also gonna go to Yvonne's uh booth. I stroll up and I'm watching, and I'm as I'm strolling up, I look at the planes. And I'm just like, and I see Yvonne there, and I'm like, hey, this your booth?
Yeah, let me set the scene. Yvonne is standing on top of a table telling a story to a bunch of children standing before her about one of her adventures recently, climbing a mountain range, stuck in a snowstorm. You can hear the radio broadcast behind her that was recorded from when she was in a cave trying to stay warm, trying to stay alive against the greatest odds. And she looks over to you, Celeste. You here for another breaking story? I got plenty of them.
Ooh, honestly, I'd be intrigued. The life of an explorer has always been something that's kind of interested me, Getting to just leave everything behind and go somewhere new, somewhere where you can just do whatever you want. That sounds that sounds amazing, honestly.
It can be quite fun. And of course, if you're a successful adventurer, you're not leaving everything behind because you get to come home afterwards. But I'm happy to chat with you. Your paper has never done me wrong when it comes to breaking coverage.
Hmm. Thank you, actually. That's truly wonderful praise to hear from someone as esteemed as you.
Well, some of the rumors are true, some of them are blown out of proportion, but I do what I can.
Well, if you want to clear up any rumors or maybe start some new ones yourself, you can always come over to my booth and we could have a little interview.
I think I may take you up on that.
That would be lovely. And I think the connection that I will forge here is that we're acquaintances, like maybe not like directly, but we've heard of each other from like different sources, like Yvonne, presumably, from what I'm assuming, well, based on what you said, you've read some of Celeste's work, and I myself have also heard some of your stuff. So that is the connection that I shall be uh playing.
So, Yvonne, if you can send your information to Celeste as of your motive and circumstance, what is Charles up to?
Charles's attention is divided. Pardon me. Oh, that was a great time to have a hiccup just exactly when I unmuted my mic. Um, Charles's attention is divided between the crowd of children at her booth and the crowd of children in front of Yvonne's booth. And she's getting more and more curious about that fascinating lion. So after working the crowd a little bit, making eye contact with people, um, uh, small talk with people that she knows from the community, introducing herself to a couple of people that have um, seem to be showing a particular amount of interest, and also encouraging the young ones around that are absolutely enthralled with all the costumes. Like what else would a kid be interested in but being able to play make believe? After doing all of this, she I think she kind of gives a look over to make sure everything is okay. Everybody seems to be occupied. Leo has a long line of people waiting to get their picture drawn, their caricature drawn. So in the lull, she kind of not so casually. Uh, oh, sorry, I got super distracted by that. Oop, wrong person.
No, roll
the
20 did one part of it to it split my message and did one
Yeah,
part
roll
to
20 did you
everyone and
dirty.
one part to the whisper, so
That's okay though,
oh
Uh
because I
well.
think I'm gonna try to use my contact on you anyway, and I won't have to pretend that I forgot what I saw. Also, that roll 20 noise is super distracting. Why does it sound like anyway? That's an aside. It's a problem for another day. Um, Charles rolls up onto Yvonne's booth and tries her best to look casual, but she is absolutely enamored with this animatronic lion, and quite a bit actually with Yvonne's enthralling performance and retelling her exploits in the wilderness. Um, and I think she's waiting for another lull and waiting for the story to end so she can get Yvonne's attention.
Uh, on your 28th question of are lions really that big and scary? I would say some of the kids begin thinning out as they've had most of their questions answered. As you notice, Charles.
Yvonne,
Charles, how are you today?
I'm doing wonderfully. How are you?
Doing quite well. My booth seems to be a hit, so I have to feel good about that at least.
It is. I'm surprised you have not taken up drag performance yet. That story was fascinating, and you have excellent stage presence.
Well, I spent enough time being perceived as the wrong gender, so it's not really
Hmm.
for me, I think.
Yeah, yeah, you're right, actually. And I think Charles kind of like starts to adjust her clothes a little bit, trying not to look slightly on her back foot, slightly embarrassed, and quickly changes the subject to so tell me, this lion, how does it function? It is phenomenal.
Well, it's really quite simple. It is a taxidermy, but instead of the normal wire frame, there's an animatronic frame in it that I had commissioned by this gentleman that I found in New York a couple years ago. He is quite brilliant at what he does. I think he's involved somehow in circuses or coming up to circuses. I'm not entirely certain, but he does amazing things with animatronics.
Fascinating. I wouldn't mind commissioning something like this as a prop for a drag show myself. Uh, do you think he would mind if you gave me his number? I would love to talk to him.
I could put you in touch with him, sure.
Wonderful.
So, what do
And
you have
oh,
planned?
sorry, go ahead.
What do you have planned for your booth today?
I am showing our community the wonders of drag by letting them have a few minutes performing. Well, not so much performing, but mm, yeah, performing doesn't have to be on a stage. A little bit of performance of themselves for themselves. And I got Leo over there immortalizing the moment for them to take home.
Seems to be a hit.
Yeah, the kids love it. I heard a couple of them wondering if they can become drag performers when they get older too, and that just warms my heart.
Doing the community good then.
The kids seem to love your performances as well. Do you think any of them will want to take up adventuring too?
Well, I can certainly hope it's definitely not a life for anybody, but my apprentices could always use a few new accomplices in the things that they plan.
Mm, yeah, I bet they would. Hmm. Well, I should head back over to my booth over at Little Top over there. I think Leo is having a hard time wrangling a 5-year-old. I'll talk to you later. And she zoops back over.
Well, here, before you go,
Ah,
and she'll toss you a small bag of lion's teeth. Pass those out to the kids. Should keep them occupied for a while.
are these real?
I mean, of course.
Golly. Thanks, Yvonne. It's back over.
And you are spending your connection on
Yee.
Yvonne. All
Yeah.
right. Uh, well, the audience does not know Yvonne's motive or circumstance, but our players do have a bit more information to work off of.
Yeah, don't do a soft enter and roll 20 on a whisper. It apparently creates a second message.
Okay.
The
The
wonders
tech do
of
what they do.
yes. It
Ooh,
is what it is.
it's all good. I've done that so many times, I can't even count. But as our camera zooms out, a few hours later, we see that Charles, you notice the
Mhm.
Countess roll up, just bickering with Guillermo, although they quiet things down. But you do hear Guillermo whisper uh, to the Countess before she gets up to you that, Madam, I understand that you want to retire, but you said yesterday that you didn't want to retire. And then Wednesday you said that you wanted to retire. So I'm just trying to understand. You're not going to pull the rug out from under them, right? uh, this is what you hear being mentioned as the Countess comes up to your booth.
Countess?
Charles, it's a pleasure to see you. And you know one thing about the Countess, she uses a different accent anytime she can. She thinks it makes her sound more worldly.
Mm.
Uh, but she will stroll with her wheelchair right on up to your booth and try on one of the different hats. And then she'll just say, "Not my color." Set one
Mm.
down. Try on another one. "Are these gemstones or sequins?" Sets the costume down. Picks up another one and then just like stretches the fabric. You see a couple buttons kind of like pop off of it. And then she just kind of sets it down, murmuring to herself, and then looks at the caricatures and just say, "Leo, amazing work. But the nose. I think you need to fix my nose. Oh, and my lips. I don't like that. And then my eyebrows. I'm not." And it seems like she's gotten lost in the mincing of the booth. Charles, what do you do in reaction to her just going through your booth like a dog trying to find their toy?
Uh, as soon as the Countess puts down the slightly stretched out hat, but it was a hat, correct? Uh, Charles just quickly picks it up, tries to pick up as many fallen pieces as possible, kind of puts them inside the hat and tucks them away behind something so that she can deal with it later, but nobody will pick it up and be like, "What's wrong with this hat?" And as the Countess is critiquing Lewis, not Lewis, Leo's artwork, outside of the uh visual field of the Countess, but like kind of behind her and over her head. Um, Charles is nervously adjusting her tie and fix it, fix it over her head.
Uh, you see Leo just they give a nod and then they say, "Madam, is this to your liking?" And you see that they do a quick change, and you know Leo is incredible at what they do. And the Countess sits there for a solid half hour making little edits to the artwork, and almost in a way that has you thinking she's making it worse on purpose.
Mm.
Huh. Huh.
I
Sorry.
wonder. I wonder. I think I don't know that Charles realizes this right away. I think she's too busy trying to entertain the folks in line who are starting to get a little bit impatient as they're waiting for their turn. And she's walking up and down the line, chatting people up, doing kind of like a mini performance. Um, but then eventually, I think she does walk over, take a look, and sees, yeah, something about it looks off. Charles isn't an artist, so she kind of doubts her own assessment of it. But I mean, if this is what the Countess wants, the Countess gets what she wants. So she just kind of leaves the Leo to it.
After finalizing the portrait and Leo with beads of sweat on their brow, they look just about done as they've had it. Charles with all of these edits and changes, and you can tell that they've broken about two of their pencils so far. But when it gets to the third, the Countess is just saying, "This will do."
It looks wonderful, Countess. Spitting image.
This is a spitting image of me.
Well, not exactly. It's a caricature, but well, spitting image as much as a caricature could be a spitting image. It's
Oh,
recognizable. That's the word I wanted.
I I see. All right. Well, I will be taking notes of uh, this booth.
Mm.
Very good at your first time doing a booth. I appreciate it. There's a lot of heart, and maybe next time we use ostrich feathers instead of chicken feathers.
Where chicken feathers? To what are you refer? And
And
she's
you
not.
see her give like the little wave to your confusion and just say, "Ta ta! I will go on to the next." As Guillermo just like just full on face palms behind her and just says, "Yes, madam," and starts pushing her to the next booth.
Leo, she's joking, right? There's no chicken feathers on any of the costumes. I don't know birds, Leo. Did I get scammed? And very worried about it.
You see Leo just pull a flask from their vest and they just open the flask, take a little sip, and hand it to you. And then they just say, "It's gonna be a long night. It's gonna be a long night."
Everything feels everything feels better with alcohol.
Yeah, just a little bit. And I think uh Charles takes it, kind of like does a kind of a flip with her hat, because she doesn't want any of the children to see her in costume and drinking, and flips it back to Leo. Takes a big sigh, turns her attention back to the crowd.
And I should note that the festival started at 9 a.m. and you know that the big entertainment for tonight, starting at sundown around 9 p.m., is the Countess doing one of her famous magic tricks. She was a magician, and her lovely wife was a drag king. They traveled all over the place with their show. But the Countess has gotten a little bit rusty, but you can see as the uh, the magic different props are set up on the uh, main stage that the festival surrounds. We go a few hours later where the Countess pulls up to Edie, bickering with Guillermo. Uh, and Edie, you overhear the Countess talk about a pesky debt to Guillermo. Specifically, as she pulls up to one of your many planes in the fleet that you have, you hear her say, "Yes, yes, Guillermo, I know. I balanced the checkbook. The checkbook has positive numbers. Isn't that good enough?" Uh, and you see Guillermo just struggling, like they've almost had it for the day. But they say, "Yeah, yes, it's positive numbers, ma'am, but it doesn't matter. I will fix it." And she says, "Very good. Edie!"
Oh, hello, ma'am. I think he was also was distracted chatting with one of her pilots and then kind of caught this trying to eavesdrop and is trying to make it not obvious that she was eavesdropping. Um, does the whole grabs one of the countess's hands in both of hers, a little bit of a bow, but like, how is your evening going? You enjoying the fair?
Oh, well, it is going quite well so far. I've seen a few interesting booths. I am rather shocked though. Where is yours?
Well, and then I think as she's starting to think about it, one of the planes swoops a little bit low and sort of ruffles both of their hair. Um, it's a bit unconventional. I apologize. But we do have several of our pilots back in a tent, will, willing to chat about their escapades and adventures if you'd like to get in and on a personal conversation interview with any of them.
Well, I could, uh, but I more would like to see how this thing runs. And she like taps the plane.
Oh, right. Um, well, I could show you perhaps a few things. Um, unfortunately, most of the magic is inside the plane, and well, we can't really have everybody going inside there. The kids are going to want to get in, and they're not licensed. So,
Oh, one moment. And you see that she starts digging around in the clutch that she has on her,
mhm.
and pulls out what looks to be an absolute doctored pilot license.
I expect nothing less, honestly. Um, Edie does take it and inspects it with the utmost scrutiny, looking it over. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, where did you go to school? How did I not know this about you? We could have had so many adventures.
I went to school at Money Academy.
Right, you are. Um, well, speaking pilot to pilot, and then she'll go into some spiel about how the model of this aircraft and how it works and what sort of clutch system it's got going on. I don't know pilot words. um but we'll give her the whole rundown, speaking to her as if she knows what Edie's talking about, knowing full well she probably doesn't. But she'll play into the power fantasy for a bit.
You definitely see she just kind of gives a look of, oh, uh-huh. Well, it seems that you have this managed, but I will have to mark off a few points for not having an actual booth.
That's the risks of operating the way we do. And then I think there's some sort of flip is happening above their heads, whether or not the countess is aware that that is happening above them. But Edie is sort of nodding
Absolutely not.
approvingly.
She is
Yeah,
just like full on,
yep,
like to the next booth
right.
as like the coolest trick happens above her.
hmm
Just totally
Edie's
does not see.
Edie's used to it. Edie's unbothered. She's here for the vibes. But she'll go back to yelling at Enola for not checking up her machine and etc.
A few hours later, the Countess arrives at Yvonne's booth. Uh, you see that she carefully, almost, you can say there's a almost unwillingness to come over until Guillermo, you see him give a stern look at her. Uh, and you, Yvonne, know that Guillermo is almost family. Guillermo takes care of everybody at all times. He's who you go to in case of any help, and he's also the one that will call you out if you ever are doing things you shouldn't. And it seems like he is doing so to the Countess at this point in the day. But she pulls right up to your booth, and the lion jumps out, and you hear just a blood curdling scream come out of her.
As they pull up, Yvonne will toss a cookie off of a plate towards Guillermo and just lean back against the table there. So have you finally decided to join me for an adventure? We can go see more lions like that if you love that one so much.
And you can see she just like dabs at her forehead with a handkerchief. And she's, yes, that is certainly an option that we could do. Um, I prefer things a little bit more. And then you see the again, like in the time that it takes for the lion to reset and pop out again, just like another blood curdling scream, as she just, good heavens, can you just pause that for only a moment, please?
Just a moment. And Yvonne will lean down and just flip it off. There's, I'm sure, a disengage lever somewhere in this mechanical animatronic. There. It should leave us alone for a bit at least. The kids will be disappointed, but it should give us some peace.
Well,
So something more relaxing, we could try a jungle. There are only a few snakes there
jungle.
that'll try and eat you.
A jungle is relaxing.
I mean, it's sometimes not as hot, but it is very humid, so it depends on how you feel.
But uh, but that is certainly a option. Uh, good job.
What?
You see, just her just fight with herself. I said good job.
I think perhaps I may have some hearing damage finally from Edie's airplanes. Did you tell me good job?
Yes, I did. And make sure that lion doesn't jump out at others, that you could give someone a heart attack.
I will try to keep an eye out.
Well, and she will hand you an envelope.
Um, hesitates for a moment and then takes it. Does this mean you've changed your mind?
It means I'm thinking about it.
Well, you know where to find me and your best friend, Leo.
Just eyes narrowed. And then she says, Guillermo, let's go. And you see her just like eyeing down the animatronic, just like watching it, like how if that's somehow gonna stop it from moving, which it does not. But she goes on to the next booth, up to a reporter's booth. Celeste, you see the Countess fully come up to you and just starts messing with the camera without even talking to you. She just starts like looking at the different filters and seeing like if the button will make the poof sound. What do you do as she starts messing with this very expensive equipment?
I put on a bit of a nervous smile. I'm like, "Oh, Countess, you look as lovely as ever. So lovely, in fact, that with your permission, of course, I would love to take a photo of you." And then, as I'm saying that, I'm like kind of like putting my hands on the camera as well to like kind of put it in position.
You see that she just automatically like blushes, and then she races her wheelchair in front of the camera, um posing with one leg crossed over the other and her hat dipped down, and she says, now how long do I have to hold it? It's not for like an hour.
Oh no, not for an hour. Maybe like a little bit, only. But I'll make sure to go fast just for you.
Well, thank you. I'm sure it's fine if I keep talking during, or do I have to be silent?
Just hold that for a little bit. And there we go. Alrighty.
The big poof happens and you see it just like again like this startle reflex out of her way more than it should be, um but she just says, well, there should be a warning with that.
Oh, apologies, Countess. I wasn't thinking. Are you alright?
I'm fine. Now I did have a few questions about the articles that we did recently about my cookbook. Celeste, you remember these articles specifically because the recipes that she was suggesting were abhorrent.
Oh, yes, I remember, Countess. Oh, I'm terribly sorry to say this, but we've been very busy. I mean, obviously, I would consider this a good thing for the company. We've been very busy with so many good things have been happening in the community and some not good things, but you know, it's a lot of work, and I'm afraid we haven't been able to get to that yet. But I promise you, I will speak to the right people, the editors and everyone else, and I will ask them to maybe push that up a little more on the list. And hopefully we'll be able to do something about that soon. Of
Good.
course, I'm just a reporter, so there's only so much I could do, but hopefully that will be enough.
Well, I just know your viewers will love my tin fish caramel.
I I hope they will be able to see that one day, or someone at least.
You see that she starts looking at a couple of the other uh, things you have set out on your table. She's accidentally crinkled a few of the newspapers that you've put out. Just whether it be accident or on purpose, you are not quite sure. But eventually, after causing enough of a ruckus and seeing that after another person has been waiting for about 15 minutes to be interviewed, that you now um have the brain went out. One moment, please. So after she leaves the booth, the person that has been waiting for about 15 minutes finally is able to be interviewed. A few hours later, getting closer and closer to the time of the magic show, you see more and more props are brought out onto the main stage. People with many of their cameras out are ready to see the Countess come out of retirement. Some of them have many small ones, and in fact, uh, it almost comes into question, why did the Countess give Celeste such an old camera?
I mean, not to assume anything, but she's kind of old herself. Maybe she hasn't quite kept up with the times, you know. And I mean, it's been working well enough, and you know what they say: if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, she certainly has given you at least some film, but you can tell some of the photos end up blurry of the different the reports that you are preparing for the newspaper. Uh, but again, everyone hears the bell, signaling that it is time for the grand event, the Countess's magic show. You watch as she wheels out in a beautiful gold and sequined outfit, what looks like a classic flapper's outfit. She has a headband with feathers adorned to the side that perfectly show her silver finger wave curls. She shows a box in front of her and she says, "For my biggest trick, my most dangerous trick, I will be teleporting from one place to another."
From the material world to the dead realm.
You see that Guillermo, dressed in a sequined suit, opens the door to what looks like a strange time machine almost. That you would have heard about in some of the different books and fiction of the time. You see a bunch of knobs and light bulbs and lights going off, different cogs whirring as she rolls into the machine. Guillermo shuts the door. Again, we hear more of this cogs and whirling, and then smoke. Smoke begins to arise out of the machine, and that is when each one of you see panic run across Guillermo's face.
Row.
The curtains begin to just swing in front. And this is a cylindrical stage, so we see red curtains slowly encircle the stage as a terrified scream escapes Guillermo,
I'm sure
only
everything's fine.
saying only saying two words. she's dead. And that's where we're going to take our break. We're going to be back in about 10 minutes to figure out who killed the countess. Stay
Oh,
tuned.
shoot.
We'll see you in about 10 minutes.
See.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Nerds with Dice. Today we're playing Wicked Lies and Alibis Murder at the Pride Fest. Today we are raising money for the yes, TJFP, which is a great organization helping fund trans grassroots lawmaking to help protect trans individuals. Uh, it is a fantastic charity, and you can actually affect the game right now as we head into who committed the murder. And as we get into things, the way you can do that is by $5, you can throw an accusation at someone. Just write their name in the little notes section of the donation. For $10, you can have give someone an alibi. And for $50, another murder will occur. If you're feeling like amping up all the drama, coffee table in front of you. There are big, lavish couches in this room, walls of books, and you've been in here for about 2 hours alone. What do you guys do?
Wait, sorry, could you repeat that? What's going on?
So it's been 2 hours since the crime occurred, and you all have been gathered into a drawing room in the big mansion, away from all of the Pride festivities, because you four have the most to gain from the Countess's death. You've all been gathered into this room and have been in here for 2 hours with only Guillermo coming in to check in. No one else has been able to get in contact with you. They've been kind of keeping you here to make sure they know where you are, just in case something nefarious had occurred from one of you. But we find ourselves in this drawing room as the clock keeps ticking later into the night with the four of you in here.
How much longer do you think they're going to keep us in here?
Long enough for them to figure out what's going on, I suppose.
However long that takes.
Or to
I
decide they
can't
don't
believe
care,
the Oh, sorry.
or to decide they don't care and pin it on one of us.
Pin it.
I can't believe the Countess is dead. I mean, yeah, she was old, but because of that, like you'd think she'd go out from normal circumstances.
Hmm.
Maybe she did. I don't. What's all this about pinning anything on anyone? What's there to pin?
What do you think all of this is?
I don't. I don't know.
I
Getting
mean,
wills and affairs in order. I mean, there was a competition going on. I suppose they want to put some sort of end to that.
but I mean, it's late. I kind of agree with Yvonne here. Why else would they keep us here if not for something serious?
Maybe
Mm.
for our safety. If something nefarious happened to the Countess and one of us was meant to inherit something, maybe nobody here's in trouble. Maybe it's for our protection.
Charles doesn't look convinced.
Edie doesn't either, but we don't need to get into that.
Something ain't right.
Hmm. I think if Charles can see the same body language or similar body language on Edie as she's exhibiting herself the same discomfort, I think she would shoot Edie kind of a knowing look, kind of wiggle her eyebrows a little bit before kind of staring at her teacup.
I think there's a very pointed look of like, did I, was that for me? Like what? Like not understanding. Why am I getting looks? What do I know? What did I do? What? What are we? Like,
Hmm.
Mm.
I don't know. I'm not looking at you at all. Looks directly at you.
Oop.
As the stairs continue, you all hear two sets of footsteps. One that is very common to your ears as you've heard it many times throughout these 2 hours of Guillermo. The other, a much lighter set, stopping right at the door. You see Guillermo walk into the room and just say, "Well, as we all know, the police here don't know how to investigate anything if they even tried to uncover their eyes. So, in case the Countess, anything unfortunate happened to her, she did have a distinct instruction on who she wished to figure out what happened. May I present you with Detective Darla Dubois? You
That's a
Ma'am?
see,
rad name, by the way.
you
Darla
see,
Dubois rolls off the
it's
tongue. Sorry.
no, no, you're totally fine. It does. It's the alliteration of this detective, Detective Darla Dubois. Uh, she walks into the room, and it's the same woman that you've been seeing, watching your booths, writing those notes.
Oh,
Hmm.
that makes a lot of sense.
She has a hat over a short bob, again with that flower sack pattern dress. Looks handmade with love, and you see these really brightly beautiful multicolored ribbons braided together to create some nice decoration onto it. Um, but as she walks in the room, you see that in her arms, she has what looks like stacks of casserole dishes. Uh,
Ooh, what kind?
you smell the scent of crisp potatoes, uh, the scent of like some sort of a stuffing, as well as some sort of green bean casserole. And you see in Guillermo's hand is a strange salad looking concoction with whipped cream and other kinds of fruits that have been chopped into it. And as Darla enters the room, she just says, "Oh, hi there. Hi, my name's Darla Dubois. It is very great to meet you guys. Uh, so, uh, I I was hoping that today would just be a fun, get to see my friend do a really cool uh, wonderful magic trick, but unfortunately, one of the wires did a little oopsie daisy, and well, it didn't go so well. And now I'm here. So
Nice to
can
meet you,
I?
detective.
Nice to meet you
Nice to
too.
meet you, detective. Do you need any help with those?
Oh, yes, I figured that they didn't feed you guys, so I went ahead and went into the kitchen. The cook is a little bit mad at me, but you guys need to be fed, and so I decided I should make some like tater tot casserole and
ooh.
some of this new salad, but it hasn't really caught on yet. Uh but we'll figure it out as we go. And she just starts setting out these casserole dishes on like a very pristine table that probably should never have anything like warm on it. But she just sets it down much to the chagrin of Guillermo. Um, but she'll start scooping out plates of food and just say, so I heard that all you guys would benefit from her dying.
Pardon?
Oh, oh my, that's quite a way to start a conversation.
I'll say.
Oh, well, I don't want to beat around the bush a little bit, but we have time to do. And I got a train ride tomorrow at 7 o'clock, and I really don't want to have to reschedule that. So uh, I just want to cut to the chase. All four of you was going to really find out who was going to run this community, and that comes with a lot of money.
Suppose
Worse
you're
things
right.
have happened easier.
Well, that I d- he he doesn't know what to say.
Seems
Speechlessness is
suspicious.
normal. It's normal, but also could mean that you're guilty. But we'll find out as we go. Now, I know you busy bees have a lot of information to impart, and I've been watching as well to keep track of everything. But I'd like to hear from you. Who you? Everyone has a way of doing it and a reason for doing it. But out of everyone in this room, who do you think caused the unfortunate accident of our beloved Countess?
Why, I if it's an accident, doesn't it mean nobody caused it?
Oh, well, accidents can be forced, or it
You're,
could be just its own thing.
you're insinuating that somebody did this because we're going to find out today who's going to run the community stuff, but we haven't found out yet. So why would anybody do it before then?
Well, if someone did find out who was written on the last line, no one can find the new will.
Oh,
Oh.
what's the old will say?
Well, that
Huh.
one we found in the fireplace in the billiard room.
Is it still legible?
Only with the Countess's signature. None of the lines of who gets what.
Huh.
Oh.
I think I'm starting to see why you think it's not an accident.
Hmm.
Could it have
So, oh, sorry, go ahead, please.
could it have just been that the Countess has decided not to retire? Hasn't she been, you know, indecisive on that matter? Maybe she wasn't ready to write a will yet.
Maybe. But I think that would make a few of you little angry things if you found out that all the money bags were gonna go out the window.
Well, I suppose I could see how someone would feel that way.
She looks at each of you, and you can tell that she wants an answer. So, as the first round of accusations begin, I need to know from each of you who you believe the prime suspect is at this point.
Hmm.
Just a quick reminder. We can reveal what we know about someone, right? Like
Uh,
their circumstance and motive. Are we able to do that or
You
during
are
the
able to do
accusation?
that in the conversation. Uh, Very much used in like the most dramatic point is usually when it's suggested to be revealed. But at any point, you can reveal that information, uh, or you can keep it close to your chest. Up to you.
All right. Thank you.
And in what way is she asking, like, how is this information being gathered? Is she just waiting for
Um,
somebody to blurt it out, or?
she's just waiting for someone to blurt it out. She's just
See who's
like
gonna
sitting
throw
there
who under the bus
expectantly.
first.
Exactly. She's just very much like a mother that found kids with their hand in a cookie jar. She's sitting there very expectantly.
Mm, role play wise, Charles is absolutely stonewalling her, but mechanically, I do need to give an answer, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so like mechanically, um, Charles's answer would be think about it before I answer, confirm that that's what I actually want to say. Yvonne. Seemed a little bit too obvious,
Wow.
but I can't think of any other secondary option that makes sense at this point.
Um, your eyes just almost wander towards Yvonne, and you can see that Darla Dubois has made a note of that.
Ooh.
We see that Yvonne has made a
Ooh.
note of that as well. As your eyes wander, you meet her eyes.
Nervously adjusting clothing again.
Takes a note of what you've taken a note of.
Well,
um.
Yvonne, or
Oh,
yes,
sorry.
go ahead. No, you go for
Oh
it.
no, 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 no. You go. You go.
I was just prompting another person to answer, that's all.
Oh, okay. Do we all have to say something?
Everybody has to say something.
Okay. This is our time to make accusations, just to clarify.
So right now we are deciding who the prime suspect is. And so to give a brief description about how the accusation round works, once the death has occurred, the detective comes and starts initiating accusation rounds. First, we decide who a prime suspect is. The first round, it is by choice. Who, through the beginning of this one shot, has seemed the most guilty? Then we'll go starting with the person that has been accused as the prime suspect. They can pick out who to spend their accusation card on first. And then we go kind of in a circle until all cards are spent.
Alrighty. Um, well, I guess I'll make uh I'll make an accusation. So,
So
uh
first would be who you think the prime suspect is.
okay, so Celeste um speaks up and is like, "Well, uh not to, you know, make any enemies here, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to accuse Yvonne as being the prime suspect." Uh, um, I quite a few people came to my booth. So much so that there was a line, and at one point, I think around when the Countess was over at Yvonne's booth, I heard a couple people in the line for my booth uh, gossiping to each other. Um, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, uh, it was two girls. One of them was saying to the other, uh, "Wow, Yvonne seems to not really like the Countess, you know? She's giving her a bit of the cold shoulder." And the other girl was like, I heard that Yvonne actually hates the Countess. Couldn't tell you why." And the other one was like, "Oh my gosh, really? Are you sure?" She's like, "Yes. I don't know. I guess the my boyfriend was telling me that they go way back. They got bad history, you know? Maybe it's something to do with like the adventuring. Maybe something was going on there." Um and just to out of character, I'm playing my accusation card. The accused hated the victim.
All right, let's hold that real quick. And we can play that on Yvonne in a second, but I want to find out who so we have two votes for Yvonne right now to be prime suspect. And now Edie, are you going to jump with the bandwagon or are you going to make a different choice? Are you going to try and tie it?
I think pointedly Edie is not looking at Yvonne. Um, very pointedly not looking at Yvonne. Um, and I think as Celeste is sort of musing on what may or may not have happened, there's just a glare growing in his direction.
Oh.
I think Celeste has some reason to be accused.
Are you saying this in character?
I don't think it needs said.
Oh,
The
okay.
vibes are rancid.
Wow, I feel just a cold chill down my spine suddenly. I don't know what that could be.
Yvonne, are you going to tie the prime suspect or do you wish to be prime suspect? It means you get to go first.
Hmm.
As much as I would love to tie the prime suspect thing right now, I think Yvonne is glaring. She looks incensed at all of this and is glaring daggers at Charles, who she saw as probably the other front runner
Ooh.
for this inheritance.
Ooh.
Well, it seems, Yvonne, that you have some explaining to do. So, I mean, any one of us here could have done something. So, you have any idea who might have had a reason or two? Maybe something that happened today.
Perhaps, but I don't know why we are focusing on me when we have a criminal in our midst.
Oh,
She sits back and crosses one leg
Oh.
over the other and glances over at Charles. Would you like to elaborate, Charles, on your criminal history? And that's the card I'm
Oh.
playing.
Criminal history. Oh, what? Well, okay. Before I start like doing role play, mechanically, what do I do?
so an accusation has been played on you, which means I
Mm,
get to increase your number by one,
okay.
and you get to respond to Yvonne's accusation that you might have been the murderer because of your criminal history.
Okay. Okay, so role play is the next move. Good. Okay. I simply do not know what you are referring to, Yvonne. Not making eye contact.
Not looking. Do
Mm-mm.
not look.
Uh,
Looking was what got you in this mess.
Darla opens up the little briefcase that she has at her side, pulls out some papers, and says, "Oh yeah, I see. It got wiped from your record, so I understand why it wouldn't be right at the top of your list. I mean, it was you were young. You just wanted the thing of candy. You should have probably gotten it. I mean, who would make it so s- someone would charge a child for stealing candy?
Simply do not recall what you are describing.
Oh, all right." And she just slams down a file, a juvenile record.
I think Charles feigns curiosity, but really just wants to have it in her hands, walks over and just kind of like backs away from the table, is looking at it, and just kind of like tucks it into her coat jacket.
Well, Charles, I am sure that uh, you have some feelings about this. Have you seen anything odd happen today?
This is a remembering what happened and not a card, right?
Yep. So you get to
Okay.
look at your cards and then choose one
Oh, it is a
and
card.
yeah, and play it on someone and describe. There will be a prompt on the card
Hmm.
of what might have happened, and you get to describe how it happened when it. You can wait if
Yeah,
you
I
wish.
think
That's fine.
role play wise, narrative wise, Charles just kind of shrugs her shoulders, kind of looks away, looks very standoffish, looks very avoidant in this scenario. As Chanelise now reads the cards and tries to figure out what she's going to do next.
Uh, the, Darla is going to look over. We're all
gossiping about the fact that Yvonne hated the Countess, and I am playing. How do I do that? I am playing the card. The accused hated the victim. How do I
Uh,
play it?
so if you drag that card out, there you go.
Oh, I did it! Yippee!
And I will add one to Yvonne.
Am
I
I
don't know where
correct
to
in
put this.
understanding that we can play alibis against other people's accusations?
Yes.
Am I allowed to do that right now?
Anytime you can play an alibi. So for our audience, an alibi cannot be played on yourself. Only you can give it to someone else, unless it's donated from you guys. Then you have the option to play it on someone else or yourself.
Ooh, careful,
I'm sticking. I'm sticking to my guns.
Ooh.
I'm sticking to my guns.
Come
I'm
on,
using my
guys.
alibi that I've gotten on
Use your
someone
money.
else.
Use your
Um,
money.
and I think Edie immediately snaps to Celeste. Why would the Countess have allowed her to be a part of this competition if they hated each other? Why would she even want to be involved in this community that the Countess had built up if she hated her guts? This doesn't make any sense. Gossip is gossip and should be left at that.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of money on the line, and evidently, well, not evidently. I don't want to make any enemies here again. But it's just with with Yvonne being the prime suspect, just it's possible that she might have just done it to take her money.
And a smart reporter such as yourself, who do you think was funding all of my adventures? They're not cheap.
Well, yes. Wait, would I know about this? Is that like public knowledge? No, I'm asking
Not
out
really.
of character.
Not really.
It
Hmm.
it probably would have been kept on the down low, depending on how close you see your relationship with the Countess, would be how much weight you put into it.
Mm.
Alrighty, so I do not know. Well, I guess I don't have an answer to that. Yeah, I'm done.
Um, Darla looks over at Edie and saying, "Well, that was quite spirited. So, how? What do you think?"
I don't take lightly to friends being accused of such heinous acts. Seems more likely that somebody with something outside of this competition to gain might be the culprit for something like this. Um, I think staring at Charles, I believe I recall seeing an exchange of notes and goods between some individuals. It is it is funny that the countess seems to fund the community and yet you're left with such an old camera setup. For such a stunning star reporter, it seems like perhaps the countess had something that she was holding over you. Does that ring any bells?
Oh, Celeste.
Celeste, yes,
Yeah,
sorry.
there you go.
Oh,
No worries.
Too many C
I was
names.
about to ask,
Holy
like,
C
maybe
names.
Too
me.
many C. That's on me. That's my bad. No, reporter. I am playing something to the effect of the accused was being blackmailed by the
Mm.
victim.
Wait, didn't you have an alibi card?
Yeah, I
So,
played that.
alibis can be played at any time, uh, and you can still play till your hand is zero. The alibi that Kit just played was one gifted by the viewers. Uh,
Oh, okay.
so they are still at their full card count at this point.
Oh, all right, understood. What was the accusation again?
That perhaps the countess was had something over you. Perhaps the countess was blackmailing you for something, and getting rid of her would have. elevated that.
Oh I haven't a clue what you're talking about. I I mean, the countess can obviously sometimes. I think we've all seen that the countess could some in her age could sometimes be a difficult woman, but I don't think I'd she'd do that to me.
You seem to know what she was talking about when you slipped her a stack of bills last weekend.
Well,
Or was that
that
for the new
was
camera that
un-
you didn't get?
that was unrelated.
Mm. Please do elaborate.
Well, it's a private matter.
Mm. So many
Uh,
things are.
yeah, it's crazy what these the little clicky things can do nowadays. And she pulls out a photo of someone you know very well, Celeste. Slides it towards you.
Uh, who is it?
Uh, it is a picture of Sylvia.
Where did you get this?
Oh, the Countess gave me all of her safe uh, codes. So I didn't have to get out a cup to try and listen to break into it, although I'd never break into anything. Uh, Never would do that. But if I did, I didn't have to do that. Seems like she had some info on you.
Uh, he just kind of takes a deep breath, but doesn't say anything.
Oh, secrets, secrets, secrets. Always getting people into trouble. Charles,
Yes, ma'am.
what do you think? Did anything weird happen today, last week, last month? Anything in particular that could be explaining the odd events of this night?
I'm not one to tell tall tales, but I did see right before the magic show, uh, Yvonne having a conversation with the Countess. I don't know what they said, but I'm certain Yvonne was the last to see her alive, not including Guillermo, of course.
Very, very interesting. Yvonne, you have anything to say about this? Saying a little howdy doody to the wonderful Countess before she went on stage?
I mean, I believe she was talking to everybody, was she not, going from booth to booth? The
Oh
Countess
yeah,
has always done what she pleases.
oh yeah, but she went to your booth at mid-afternoon, and I swear I saw you backstage chit-chatting.
We've known each other for a long time. It's not odd to have a conversation.
Guess not. But chronologically speaking, you were the last to have a conversation with her before conversation's over.
It's kind of a huff. Yvonne stands up and walks over and pours herself another drink.
Also, the lovely viewers have gifted Yvonne with an alibi to use at
Ooh.
any time.
Okay, I guess they just don't want you want to get out.
If
Uh,
you spend more money, then the character that you don't want to be the killer won't be the killer. So spend more money, give more donations.
mhm.
I'm good.
um, oh,
No, I'll
sorry, go
save it.
ahead.
It's fine. I'll save it.
Uh,
It's fine.
so again, the second part of this round starts with Yvonne. We still have cards in hand, so we keep going until you either decide to save one card in your hand or until you're completely out of cards.
Ivana's pouring herself a drink, and there's a clunk as she sets the decanter back down on the counter. She's facing away from everyone, and she turns around and thinks for a moment and looks at Charles, who had just accused her. And why exactly was it that you were looking for your passport an hour ago?
Ha- What? That's a very strange thing to ask. Where did you see me looking for a passport?
Just earlier, you were rifling through your bag, mumbling about something about a trip, I think a boat that you have chartered. I'm not entirely sure. The accusation I'm playing is the accused tried to flee the country
Ooh.
after the murder. It is not, I'm double clicking it. It is not letting me play it.
Oh, I think you have to drag and drop it.
Oh, drag
Double
and
click
drop
lets
it.
you read
That's
it.
right.
Yeah, like when you're in Minecraft and you have to drag and drop an item out of your
Precisely.
inventory.
What's it to you what my travel plans are? Look, I don't live here. If I have my passport in my bag and I can't find it, I'm going to be concerned about that. Does that not make sense to you?
Seemed awfully opportune time to be thinking about fleeing the country.
What do you mean opportune time? An hour before a magic show?
Oh, no, this was shortly after. The
Oh, excuse
Countess
me.
was dead, and you looked
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
rather set
Okay,
on
sorry.
getting out of here.
Misunderstood. People usually plan trips in advance, yeah? You really think something like this is going to make me any less concerned about possibly losing my passport on this massive ground? Thing's
Couldn't-
green. I don't know what color an American passport is. The thing's green. There's grass everywhere. I
You, it, this makes more sense. Okay, because we got a telegram saying that they were going to be sending over some tickets to Berlin uh, under your name, Charles.
Yeah, I got a gig in Berlin. Things are happening for me. It's a good thing.
Not a only a one-way ticket.
Well, if my career kicks off, what's the point of coming back?
Berlin is a safer city if cities go, I guess. But Charles,
Sam?
well, preparing to flee the country, I'm sure you saw something in your preparations.
Mm, in what way do you mean?
Oh, well, of the people here, did you see anything when you were preparing your ticket?
Oh, it's my turn.
Yep, it's your turn.
Wonderful. And it's the same. So, okay, yeah, this is my hand, and then I use. Okay, excuse me. Um, these are hard to play. Look, I'm not gonna. Since we're just saying random things, I heard um Edie something about the plane. The I think look, at the time it didn't seem like a threat, but in the context, offering a flight to the Countess in a I almost said a car in a plane that is under severe maintenance because it is at risk at just engine failure mid-flight is a death threat. And I'm playing the accused threatened to kill the victim on Edie.
Oh.
You think I would let any of my pilots in the air in something that couldn't run? There's a reason that plane was grounded today.
Then why did you offer the Countess a flight in it?
She wanted to take a look at the mechanics. She can't
On the ground
fly
or
the.
in the sky?
Well, we can't exactly ask her what her intents were at this point, but I had no intent of letting her up in the air in that thing.
Well, that's what it sounded like to me. It sounded like you wanted to let. Well, I look. I don't know how equipped you and your pilots are on getting out of a falling plane, but I would bet that the Countess is not prepared for that kind of event. And what I overheard sounded like you wanted the Countess to go up in the air in a plane that you were telling somebody else is not fit to fly.
What you heard was me indulging the Countess's fantasies of flying, just as I do for the children.
Hmm.
Oh, so that's why you had her sign a waiver?
A what?
A waiver uh, to say that should anything happen to her up in the sky, that it wasn't your fault, it was hers.
The Countess's was getting on in years. It's not my place to say whether or not she was available with all of her faculties, but she seemed excited. She wanted to fly. She presented me with a forged pilot's license. There's no stopping her from doing what she wants to do. It's not my fault that I covered my team's legal rears should she decide to get up into a plane that is grounded for good reason. And if
Of
she thinks that
course.
signing that makes her able to get in the plane, then, like I said, we play into the fantasy.
Hmm.
Hmm, very, very interesting.
I do find it intriguing that you're throwing such accusations around, Charles. If you've got all these great things happening for you, you've got gigs in Berlin, you're jet setting around the world, why do you need to be in this competition? Why why would you wish to inherit a place and responsibilities here if you have such good things happening for you everywhere else? Surely your fame and fortune follows you around where you go. You don't need to be tied to any of this. And bouncing off of what Yvonne has said, I will play. The accused was seen rushing from the murder scene, by which we mean the States.
Oh wait, I
Lol.
think that is that. I mean, I would be interested in hearing how you saw Charles like rushing from like the actual scene. It doesn't have to be like because I think we've done like running from the country. Like I want to hear how. Sorry, I don't know if this is how it works,
Yeah.
but I'm
I
curious
mean,
to hear how did you see Charles running away from the stage?
I think my intent here is
Yeah.
the same event but from a different perspective
Okay.
is, you know, I we've been hearing about these telegrams. We me and who I now know as Miss Wise over here, detective, well, got our clipboards mixed up at some point in the evening and saw all these telegrams about Berlin, and now it's starting to make sense.
Mm.
Perhaps why you're leaving so soon. And what doesn't make sense to me is why you were here in the first place.
Okay, I think I understand. You're like, why do you want to win the estate and then leave the estate at
Yeah,
the
why
same
are you
time?
even here?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because then you're tied here. You have all these responsibilities. You've got to run this thing. You've got to run the estate. Why do you want that?
Look, who's to say I need this place? Who's to say I just can't get it because I can? What if I can get it and give it to somebody else in my community? One of the other drag kings or something like that.
Is that
Why
an
do
admission? You don't have to win it. You just get it.
No, you said, look, you said why I'm trying so hard not to laugh. you you said why do you want it if you're going to Berlin? Maybe I don't want it for me. Maybe I want it for my community. You ever thought of that? Can't somebody do
Ooh.
something nice for somebody else?
It's an interesting claim to make when you're running from the community, or at least leaving it in the dust.
Well, maybe I want to leave something for them.
Shots are being
Fair, fair.
fired.
Uh,
Asked and answered.
Darla scans towards Celeste and just says, Celeste, dear, you've been pretty quiet. Uh, Anything you want to share with the group?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. You know what? I do. Uh, First off, I would like to give a sincere apology, not just to myself, but to everyone here on behalf of me as a reporter. As a reporter, I shouldn't be taking gossip as a foundation to make wild claims of suspects and murders. That's completely wrong of me. You were right, Eddie. Um, I that was complete. That's something I as a reporter should not be basing my statements on. I should be basing them on facts, which is what I did this time. So, I as this was all going on, I happened to get a private audience with one of the police. Now, obviously, the police have been handling this situation poorly, but even then, there are some indisputable facts that even they can't mess up, surely. So I was talking a little bit about about the case with them, and I was just asking, what could have possibly happened here? Vehicles that would require fuel. Now, obviously, it could just be some car fuel, but I mean, what's the chances of that when a few planes are right in the vicinity? Um, would you have anything to say about that, Eddie? And I am playing the card. The accused was is there like does that make sense that like
That could have been
eh,
what did it.
yeah, like that maybe there was some fuel in the tea is
Mhm.
what I guess what I'm trying to imply here.
It could have made it hard for the countess if that they were suffering the effects of poisoning to pull off the stunt with this very uh, not necessarily state of the art equipment, but uh, definitely a dangerous piece of equipment.
Mm. And I mean, yeah. So do you have anything to say about that, Eddie?
I mean, I suppose it's just as logical that it was me as it is that it was Guillermo who drove her or any of the other pilots who were fueling their own machines while I was on the ground, or any of the other dozens of audience members who drove here themselves. Or do you see my picture? Fuel is a bold claim to make, and you would have had to have been pretty close in order to witness and be certain that that's what you were seeing. I mean, gasoline and tea look pretty similar unless you're right up on them.
Very, very true. Yeah, I did manage to swipe that teacup, and oof, that's a whiff of fuel there. She sets it down on the table.
How curious. How curious indeed.
Now that everyone is, I think almost everyone should be down to one card, uh, if I'm correct. Um, Edie, do you have one card or two cards left? Just double checking.
So here's the thing: I have two, but that may be because I was trying to draw an alibi that chat gave me, and the only card that it let me draw was an accusation. So one of those might be extraneous. So you can steal one of those if you feel
Okay,
like
I'll
it.
just grab a random.
Yeah, go for it.
Is that two cards including the alibi, or just one? Are you asking if there's one accusation card left?
No, I'm asking for everyone. That are you at one accusation card left?
Mm, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you have a choice. You can either play this action card right or accusation card right now, or save it for the next round if it's something you feel like you can work with.
Yeah, I think I'll keep mine.
I'll save mine too.
Um,
I want to save mine.
So, as far as the number of accusations, we go in rounds until we get closer to the end time. And then whoever has the most accusations at that point is who
Mhm.
did it. When you get four, that's when special things happen that will reveal when they happen. So,
Ruh-roh.
but it does seem that if people are keeping their card, uh, that Charles is the next prime suspect, as
Ooh.
she has the highest number of accusations. Uh,
Oh no, Charles.
some time has passed. You've been able to have some of the dinner. It's about midnight when Darla again begins asking you more questions about what happened that day. And she looks at Charles and says, "Oh, Charles, you know, I've been watching all your progress. You know, I follow that in the news, and I follow from Celeste's paper over there.
Hmm.
Uh, I know you had some uh strong feelings about the Countess, but did you see anything odd? And let me deal out cards real quick.
Ooh, okay.
Yay, more cards. I love cards. Gimme, 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 gimme.
If you probably just give me two because it didn't take any away from me that time. So
Okay. If you just pull one out and just put it on the table, then because you always have a max of three in your hand at one point, so
okay,
everyone gets two additional cards, and then just choose to discard one, and we will just not find that one relevant,
got it.
and I will deal these out.
Ooh.
So uh, new cards have been dealt, and looking at the number of cards, or looking at your cards, she looks at Charles and just says, repeats what she said. But is there any accusations you would like to make?
Ooh, yeah.
Oh wait. Could I got a duplicate.
There are duplicates, which means you can play it on other people.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep, it's in the
Thank
system.
you.
They have multiple cards. Just we got incredibly unlucky that out of the 52 cards, we got two of the duplicates in a row. Um, but Charles, your accusation?
Ooh, I think my accusation is it's not a loud one. I think she kind of takes Darla, the
Detective Darla Dubois.
Detective Dubois. Okay, and aside a little bit and goes, like I said before, I don't like to tell tall tales, but this whole competition thing, look, one of us doesn't need to win the competition to inherit something. Okay, I think whoever did this, it doesn't make sense for one of us to do it if we need the Countess alive to win the contest. So whoever did it profited from the murder. And I think that person is Yvonne.
Now, that's a pretty wild accusation, Charles. Yvonne, do you have anything you want to say about that?
Yvonne, I think, is quiet for a long stretch. Why exactly do you think I would be in the will?
I think it takes Charles thinks like the facial expression on Charles's face is very much one of a what did you just say? Because I don't think she was expecting not to be contested. Um and she just her hand nervously goes back to that tie, and she says well, we can't find the will. Old one's gone. But look, am I going to say it, or are you going to say it? You're her next of kin, aren't you?
The Countess talks a lot about family and about how important it is and how you need to hold each other close, but behind closed doors, she didn't stick to it very well. I wasn't in the will, even the old one. I'm playing an alibi.
Ooh. Guess we'll have to take your word for it because both of them are gone. Takes a big sip of tea.
A viewer has gifted an alibi to whoever needs it the most.
Ooh.
Right now, the person with the highest uh, accusations is Charles. And as we know, the person with the highest accusation is the one that did it. So, Charles, you now have an alibi.
Ooh. Do I have to play that, or does that automatically knock me down to 2?
You have to play it. So if someone else
In the
plays a card
future.
on you in the
Okay.
future,
Like a
then
shield.
you got a shield.
Cool. Nice. Thank you.
Yvonne, you've been accused now. Darla looks at you and just says, "Ah, this is getting very interesting as things go. Lots of secrets. Scared of coming out, I guess. Like a groundhog afraid of its shadow, right? So, uh,
I guess that's
what do you
one way
think?"
of looking at it. Well, since we are on the topic of wills and how I was, in some shape or form, related to the Countess, I was. We knew each other well. She would talk to me. The discussion that we were having just before she went on stage, she had decided the winner. I guess I should say winners. She named 3 of us, leaving just one out. I was arguing with her, but it was because I thought all of us should be in there. I thought it was unfair, Charles, that she left you out of the will. And I'm playing the accused was
Oh,
disadvantaged by changes to the victim's will.
Now I don't know what to do because I could just use this alibi I just got, but that's so much fun. hmm. Okay, so she was left out of the will. Everybody went. I don't think I'm going to use the alibi for that because I like it too much. I think Charles just kind of falls silent, and she's got her arms crossed, and she's giving once again an air of calmness, but the fabric of her jacket is being pulled by the amount of pressure she is, the amount of how much she is squeezing her biceps to calm herself. She just kind of looks into um starts examining the baseboards of a wall far on the side of the room.
ooh.
I hate to do this,
Charles,
but oh,
Hmm?
so real quick, Charles, you are now at 4 accusations.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
Uh,
wait, we get to see the fun thing.
Oh
Yeah, I want to see it.
so at 4
no.
accusations, uh, it every single player has 2 secrets: their motive and their circumstances. And once you hit 4 accusations, that those 2 secrets are revealed. So Charles, the pressure is getting too much. There's
Mm.
too much to hide at this point. And how do you see them dealing with it while revealing their motive and their circumstance?
Okay. So what's happening? Like, so Charles is losing her cool, and in that scene, blurts out both mode or hints heavily hint or lets it slip. Motive and circumstance.
Yep. So your main secrets. So this would also include the thing we were talking about earlier as well.
Okay.
Spill the beans. Let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah. Leave me out of the will, huh? The one person who could really use it the most, right? Because it's so easy to pay off debts when you're working as a freaking maid, right? How philanthropist.
Ooh.
Whoa, how do you make that an adjective? Philanthropishness.
Philanthropic.
Thank you. How philanthropic of you, my dear countess. Yeah, she's mad about that. So her occupation is maid, not drag king. She's a drag king by night, but she lives by her occupation as a maid. And her circumstances, she has large debts.
Oh no.
Oh
Oh
no.
no.
And then the motive would be keeping
Oh,
your job as, or what is your motive?
to preserve a secret? Is it okay if that's the same thing?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what
Okay.
I was just going to suggest because I'm pretty sure it was to preserve a secret, and that
Yeah.
secret would be that you are not a professional drag king.
Well,
Yet.
she is, but it's not paying because
Not
there's no
paying
there's
attention to it.
no profession there's no certification board.
It's actually
She is who
licensed.
she said. Yeah, she is who she says she is, but it's not paying the bills.
I feel
Yeah.
like this could be like the plot to like a drama.
Oh hell yeah. Yeah.
Edie, Darla looks at you after Charles's outburst.
I I just I find it so funny that you have taken this moment to expose this secret that you've, I presume, known for a while about Yvonne and the Countess and their relationship. And I find it hard to believe, based on conversations that I may or may not have heard in the foyer, that that was a secret that you've been holding on to for a minute. And our Countess anymore. The community found out that she was hiding something, and Charles, if you were to be the one to bring that secret to light, wouldn't the community fall just in love with you instead? And I would be playing the accused had threatened to expose the victim's secret on Charles. I just
Ooh.
find it funny that you've known this whole time.
Haven't we all known? Look, somebody died and we're spilling each other's beans. I'm not the only one.
You're the only one who threatened to tattle on the Countess. At least the only one I've heard.
Just quiet.
Um, you notice Darla is just writing things in her notes. Interesting, interesting. Yeah, this the Countess had all her secrets, and she was losing sway. I mean, she hasn't even been to Pride in what, few years? It would mean that you could take over real quick, especially if you got named heir.
Was that not the price of the contest?
Fair, fair. Celeste, how are you doing, sweetie?
Well, a lot better than a good friend here.
Anything you saw?
Um, Yes, well, maybe not saw, but heard. Um, just to clarify, just quickly
Mm,
again, we can reveal like circumstance and motive if we have a connection with that person while we're making an
yes,
accusation.
absolutely.
Alrighty. Alrighty. Yvonne, you always seem to just have an answer for everything. And a conveniently placed alibi. Well, let's see if you have one for this time, cause, well, I think it would be safe to say that that if the countess's will was to be changed for you, that would be something quite disadvantage disadvantageous to you. I'm sorry, I'm tumbling over all my words. Goodness. Especially considering that you're actually her secret love child. I mean, imagine the child of the countess being left out of her own will. That would be certainly a great blow upon you. And perhaps that would be the blow would be so great that it would be enough to drive you to murder. And I'm playing the card the accused was disadvantaged by changes to victim's will, and I guess I'm also revealing Yvonne's circumstance that she is the secret love child of the countess. Here we go.
Ah, yes.
Yvonne kind of sits back and puts an arm over the back of the sofa that she's sitting on and shrugs. I don't deny it. She took me out of her will. Well, I'm honestly not even sure that I was ever in her will, but and yeah, we've had arguments about it. I've felt betrayed. I have said things that I've regretted over the years. I don't deny that. There's lots of anger there. How could she take the only child I know of that she has and deny her everything? Sure, she paid for my adventures and would slip me money here and there, but I was always the forgotten one. There are no denials there.
It does seem as though everyone has secrets, everyone has reasons, but I'm afraid, Charles, of all the people here. There are many reasons stacked against you. Why did you do it?
Charles, no.
And she pulls out from her pocket one of the buttons from the hat that the Countess ruined.
God, I got all those goddamn doodads. I was. What do you expect me to do? Huh? What do you expect me to do? I thought I had a chance. I worked so hard on my booth. I thought, was it. Look, this was supposed to be a contest of skill and merits. We were supposed to earn it. I busted my ass on that. Gosh darn tent. All those props. Freaking Leo's sketchbook thing. Now I'm just even more in the hole because now I have to pay it for all of that out of pocket and I have nothing to show for it. Nothing.
When I confronted her about not including you, not picking you to win, do you know what she told me?
What?
That you were the one most capable of all of us. Your future in Berlin was going to shine brighter than any of us. That's why she didn't choose you. She didn't think you needed it.
Oh,
How encouraging. Take the most capable person in a contest and make them fourth place.
Now, quite frankly, well, I did have a friendship with that Countess. She let's not make mountains out of this, but she wasn't a very nice lady at times, okay?
Mm.
And well, I did find this in her safe. And she rolls out a fully written out will with an empty space. And she puts a pen on top. Now, I didn't necessarily see anything. I'm just minding my business. I'm just supposed to find out who may or may not have done it. But let's be frank, I don't give my info out to cops, okay? I'm just gonna leave this here.
Celeste writes his
And
name immediately. No, I'm just
PvP suddenly in headlines and alibis.
Yvonne throws a
No, I'm just
chair.
joking. Just joking. Just clarify.
Did we get
I'm
that
just
second
joking.
murder? Is that what I'm hearing?
We could
Right.
split it 4 ways. Each go our
Ooh.
own way, never talk about what happened here.
I almost called her Celeste. Dang. Charles looks at Yvonne for holds Yvonne's gaze for a very long time. Um, Slides the will over, flicks the pen so it rolls over the table. Then says, Yvonne, I didn't think. I just wanted to mess up the act. All right? I have a bit of a vindictive streak, I guess. And it's bitten me in the ass before, and it's bitten me and somebody else in the ass now. Uh, I I wasn't trying to kill her, and I don't know if it's fair to ask you to believe me, but I just don't want to leave that unsaid.
My mother would have been pissed if it was old age that had taken her. I think you did more good here than you think. And it was unfair of her to think that just because you're the most capable of us, you're the brightest one here, that you didn't also need help. We all need help.
Yeah.
That's why I was arguing with her just before she went on stage. I think splitting this 4 ways is fair. It's more than enough money and responsibility for all of us.
Yeah.
Wait, are the rest of us allowed to talk here? Oh, okay. Well, could Celeste? Celeste is. You know what? I'm not gonna ask. Celeste chimes in. You know what, Charles? Though I don't entirely agree with murder, I can understand being in a desperate situation.
Yeah. And I honestly can't say I'm a huge fan of murder either. Didn't think that was gonna be on my to-do list today. But here we are. Uh, and I think she reaches over for the pen. She writes her name in the space, leaves a lot of space for everybody else's signature, and then just kind of steps back from the table.
I'm assuming everyone writes their name on the inheritance will.
Yeah.
Our camera zooms out as Darla rolls up the will, walks out of the room, and our camera just floats out, showing the last page of a book as someone shuts it, showing the cover Triple D Detective Agency Murder at the Pride Festival.
Yeah.
That
That's
is
how we
all
do.
we have for today. Let's go around and shout out our amazing players, starting with Rose Blossom.
Hi. So, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Wait, I actually haven't said it before, and I haven't said it again, but I will say it. And that'll be my first time saying it. You can find me on YouTube and Blue Sky. Rose Blossom 2468. I will be doing some other one shots. next week with Records of the Realms and one with oh my gosh, Pantsless Tables. Uh they've made their announcements of that. You can find out more on their social media pages and stuff. Yeah.
Wonderful. Anna Maeve.
Hello, hello. I am Anna Maeve, queer and trans advocate, museum worker, and TTRPG performer, producer, and podcaster. Today I was Yvonne, but normally I am Archival Dust Bunny most places on the internet. You can find me on Instagram and Blue Sky at Archival Dust Bunny. I'm in a lot of stuff all over the place. Follow me on social media to see where and when I am. But if you like queer and trans narratives, magical girls, and finding hope again after devastating loss, check out Bloom and Blight, our Girl by Moonlight actual play podcast following the magical girl team Bloom just a few months after their leader, Lily, sacrificed herself to save the world. We dive into their grief and how it affects them and their relationships in the city that they are sworn to protect. We are deep in season 2, but all of our episodes are short, most less than an hour. They are fully soundscaped with music and sound effects and just a really great listen overall. We're currently nominated for as finalists for Best Sound Design in a Podcast. So if you want to see what all that fuss is about, you can find us anywhere.
And